Well, hey, friend, and welcome back to Remix Moments with Martine, your quick mindset shift to help you move forward one moment at a time. Have you ever looked at another entrepreneur, another mom, another woman just like you and thought, how is she making this happen while I feel stuck? The truth is, it's not about luck, it's not about resources, and it's not even about talent. The difference between women who break through and those who stay stuck comes down to three things: how they think, how they respond to setbacks, and how they take action. And today we're diving into the science and strategy behind this. So if you've been wondering why success feels so easy for some, but out of reach for you, this episode is for you. Welcome to Remix Moments with Martine, where we will remix your mindset one moment at a time. I'm your host, Martine Williams, and I'm here to bring you a quick burst of inspiration, insight, and a fresh spin on your mompreneur journey. In just a few minutes, we'll remix your mindset, energize your day, and keep you moving forward with purpose. Let's dive in to today's moment. Studies show that the truth about success is that it's 80% mindset and 20% strategy. Yep, studies show that 92% of people don't reach their goals. Yep, only 8% actually follow through on their dreams. So what's the difference between the 8% who succeed and the 92% who don't? It's not about working harder, friend. It's not even about being smarter. It's all about mindset and habits. So research from Dr. Carol Dweck, which I love her book called Mindset from Stanford University, but her book is amazing. You've heard me talk about it here on the show before, but it shows that people with a growth mindset who believe their abilities and circumstances can improve through effort, that's what a growth mindset is, are far more likely to succeed than those with a fixed mindset who believe their talents and circumstances are set in stone. It's like, it's just who you are. You're never going to break through. If that's a fixed mindset that you have, you're working against the current. So let's break it down. What sets breakthrough women apart? The three key differences between women who break through and those who stay stuck are this. And this is how I see it. Number one, they commit to progress, not perfection. And I know we talk about this a lot on this podcast. And you're like, how many more times can we talk about this? But it's what I see every day with the women that I work with. So the research from Harvard Business Review found that women are 20% less likely than men to apply for opportunities unless they feel 100% qualified. Like, that's a staggering statistic. That means that a lot of us are waiting until we're perfectly prepared before we start. But the women who break through, they start before they feel ready. What they do differently is they take action now instead of waiting for the perfect time. They expect to improve as they go. So they're living in expectation that they're going to improve as they go. I was talking with someone the other day, and she didn't even realize that she said this, but she was like, I don't expect to win. And I was like, well, if that's your thought, then you're probably not going to win if you're not expecting to, right? So if you're not expecting to improve as you go and you're expecting perfection, then you're not going to take the first step. And the third thing they do differently is they embrace the belief that done is better than perfect. Now, I like things to be done well. I like for things to flow. I like for things to look organized, and like that's like professional, I guess is the word I'm looking for. But that doesn't mean that I'm striving for perfection. So you can want things done well and do your preparation work and do your behind the scenes work. And I'm not saying put things out super sloppy, especially if that's not part of your brand, which I don't know anybody whose brand is sloppy. But I want you to embrace the belief that done is better than perfect. Case in point, I have been putting off changing my social media banners. Well, one, I haven't really been on social media, so there was no need for it. But now that I'm coming back on a very small level, I needed to change my banners on my business page and on my personal page. And I'm not a graphic designer. So I've been putting off because I'm like, I don't know how to do it. Like, all the same thoughts that are probably going through your head. And I just knew I needed to get something up, and I could do it good enough, imperfectly, without it looking all the T's crossed and the I's dotted. I could do it well enough to get something put up there. And so that's what I did. And then I'll probably change it again. But for now, done is better than perfect. So the mindset shift here is perfection is just procrastination in disguise. Messy action is better than no action. So I have been procrastinating on putting off doing these banners. And it was because of the belief of it being perfect. So again, I struggle with these things too, and want to let you know that as a relatable piece, I understand. So I want you to ask yourself, am I waiting for perfection before I take action? Like, just get real honest with yourself. What's one imperfect step that I can take today? For me, it was just creating the banner and not tweaking it and letting my own perfectionism show up. I could create it where it looks good enough and it represents my brand. And I did, and it's up there. Hey friend, let's talk. It's time to book your clarity call. We are going to spend 1 full hour focused on you. A clarity call isn't about pressure. It's about possibilities. It's about you. You having a space to talk through what's on your heart and mind, you walking away with a clear vision and practical next steps, and you feeling confident in what's next and how to get there. You don't need to have it all figured out. That's my job. All you need to do is show up and we'll figure it out together. This is the best hour you can invest in yourself right now. Not in 6 months from now, not next month, right now. And don't just take my word for it. Here's what one of my coaching clients had to say after working together.
Working with Martine has been such a blessing to not only my business, but to my personal life as well. I went from lacking confidence to being able to stand tall and proud of my work and life.
That transformation, it starts with one conversation. It's time to stop spinning your wheels and start making real progress. So head right now to martinewilliams.com or in the show notes and grab your private clarity call spot on my calendar before they're gone. And since I personally monitor my inbox, if you don't see a time slot that fits your calendar, just send me an email at martinewilliams.com with 3 times that do work, and I will make it work for you. All right, friend, let's get back to the show. The second thing is that they do differently is they don't let fear of failure stop them. Studies show that the fear of failure is one of the biggest reasons entrepreneurs quit. 46% of people never start because they're afraid to fail. That's a pretty high statistic. But let me ask you something. What do most successful people in the world all have in common? If you think about it, they've failed a lot. Oprah was fired from her first TV job. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx, failed at sales for years before launching her billion-dollar brand. The women who break through don't see failure as proof that they're not good enough. They see it as feedback and part of the journey. Failure is a part of the journey. And so I want you to think about that. What do they do differently? They expect failure, but they keep moving forward. So they don't let those failures or the fear of failure keep them from moving forward. They expect it, but they also expect to win. So they just keep moving forward. They separate their identity from failure. Failure is an event. It's not a character trait. That I think I read that in Marie Forleo's book, Everything is Figure Outable. And I thought that was so powerful. Like, failure is an event. It's something that happens. It's not a character trait of who you are. You're going to figure out some things are going to work and some things aren't going to work. And that's okay. That's part of the process. What they also do differently is they ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of what's wrong with me? How many times have you said that? What's wrong with me? Why can't I figure this out? Instead of asking, like, what can I learn from this? You've heard me say, like, we either win or we learn. And if you really can think about that in that way, it changes the game. So the mindset shift might be failure isn't who you are. It's a step toward success. So I want you to ask yourself, are you avoiding action this month because you're afraid to fail? What would you do if failure wasn't an option? Like, if it wasn't something that you focused on? And the third thing they do is they take responsibility for their success. Studies show that people with a high locus of control, that just means that they believe they control their own success, which means you also control your failures and the things that didn't work, right? But you're significantly more likely to reach your goal because you believe that you're in control. Now I'm saying control like in air quotes, right? But stuck people say, I don't have time. I don't have the right connections, and I don't know where to start. You may have said some of those things. You might have a variation of those, but that's what stuck people say. I don't know. I don't know where to start. I don't have the right connections. I don't have time. But breakthrough people say, I will figure this out. I don't know right now, but I'm going to figure it out. I will make time. I will make time for this. I will find people who can help me. Do you see the differences there? They stop waiting for permission and resources or the right moment. They focus on solutions, not excuses, living in the land of possibility versus the land of the problem, right? We all have obstacles. In every opportunity, there's an obstacle. In every obstacle, there is an opportunity. What are you going to focus on? Breakthrough people focus on the solution, not the excuses. They focus on the possibilities, not the problem. And they take ownership of their success instead of waiting for someone else to give it to them. So here's a mindset shift for you. No one's coming. You've heard me say that before. No one's coming to save me. No one's coming to save you. Your success is your responsibility. It doesn't matter what your career is, what your business is. Your success is your responsibility. And when you look at it in that way, it opens up this like just creative opportunities, and it gives your brain the specific, like, I'm looking for success. I'm looking for the opportunities and the ways this will work versus someone else coming along and giving it to me, right? So I want you to ask yourself, are you focusing more on the obstacle or on the solution? Which one do you find? And this is like no shame, no judgment here, but I just want you to be thinking about that right now. Are you focusing more on the obstacle or are you focusing on the solution? And my final encouragement to you is that you have everything you need to break through. You just have to decide to use it. You have your unique gifts. You have the time. You have whatever resources that you need right now to take a step. We all have a next step. We all have 100% responsibility for that next step. But you have everything you need. What if you really believed that you had everything you need right now to break through? You don't need another course. You don't need to listen to another podcast episode, read another book. You have everything you need to break through right now. Even if you decide to invest in a coach, you decide to invest in a course, you decide to invest in going to that event. If you have the belief that you have what you need to break through, how much more powerfully will you show up to those investments? So I want you to let go of perfection. I want you to stop letting fear make decisions for you. You don't have to believe everything your brain tells you. Take full ownership of where you are and where you want to go, because success is not an accident. It's not about luck, talent, or waiting for the right time. It's about taking action, learning, and adjusting as you go. And today's the day that you take your next step. What is it? What is that next step? You hear me say that a lot in the podcast. And I may have said this in the last episode, but I don't want you to look so far down the road that you just see all the speed bumps, you see all of the potholes, you see, I just want you to look at the very next step. And if this episode hit home for you, I want you to share it with a friend. I'd love for you to share it on your social and tag me on Instagram at Martine31Williams. And if you're ready to break through, but you need clarity on that next step, maybe like, this all sounds great, but I'm so confused and I have so many options, or I just need to talk to someone and talk through that. That's what my clarity calls are for. So you can go to martinewilliams.com and book your clarity call, or you can check the show notes for the link for those details. But you've got this. Keep going. Your breakthrough is waiting, and your next step is now. And I'm believing in you always. Well, that's it, friends, for this remix moment. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me, and I hope that you are feeling inspired and ready to take on whatever comes your way. Remember, even small moments can lead to big changes. If this moment made a difference, be sure to subscribe, share with your fellow moms, and leave me a quick review. Seriously, it means the world to me to hear from you. And until next time, I am believing in you, and I will catch you in the next moment.